Alright, welcome back. And this is Gemini 9A. So it's about 10 hours since I last checked on it. I've got 8 days food, 8 days water, well, actually 8.5 days, and 9 days worth of oxygen. As I said before, in the previous episode, I checked on it to push it into the higher orbit. It's completed the lower orbit, 4-day endurance. So it's the 4-day higher endurance. It's about 1,300 kilometers. So I'm going to join Gemini 9A and see how far I can push it. I'll continue until there's about 100,000 electric charge left, like I did before, just for contingency purposes. Because I guess one of the batteries sort of short out during the interface, re-entry interface. Let's go through the tracking station and join Gemini 9A. Alright, in the tracking station, you can see Gemini 9A. MET is 5 days, 22 hours, so getting into the 6th day. Can't see exactly, so just under 1,300 kilometers. Got the apoapsis, and the periapsis I can't see because it's yellow writing. There we go, 138 kilometers. Oh dear. Yes, for some reason there's a slight sort of difference between what I know I placed it in. That should not be a suborbital trajectory. So I have to check on that. There's no way that's a suborbital trajectory because I pushed it up a lot higher. It went to about 170 kilometers. Alright, let's go ahead and join Gemini 9A. Okay, so it looks like it was actually telling the truth. So it's 138 kilometers, it's gone suborbital for some reason. I don't know why it's done that. That should not have happened. It was 175 kilometers. The orbit should not have decayed so quickly. So that's incorrect. There's no way that should have happened. So let's take a look, see exactly what happened. Oh well, never mind. Okay, so I'll wait till the actual peak point. I can push this up just using RCS. So I won't even use any of the fuel. It's 12 kilometers. At least, anyway. Okay, so we're going to be waiting about 28 minutes. Okay, a couple of minutes before the node. Got plenty of RCS fuel into your MMH, so that's not a problem. Yeah, I am actually I was tempted to sort of ignore the apoapsis dipping below the 150 minimum, but that's called cheating, and I won't do that. Okay, let's push the periapsis up to 170. That's where I left it. So there's something going on there. In fact, I remember the periapsis actually went higher than it should have done. I actually wanted it to. And that was only 10 hours ago. In game time. So yeah, that's... But I've noticed a discrepancy between orbital altitude and surface altitude. In the map view you get one particular reading, and in this view you get a completely different reading. Usually. But that's in the tracking station, as I said. But I've seen it in map view as well, obviously, with the craft loaded in, but I've never seen such a level of discrepancy and this level of sort of decay. It's possible I've made a mistake. Okay, as soon as I've finished this, I'm going to switch station keeping on. So I see no reason why it shouldn't work. And of course, if you put a space station together, you need to put a reboost unit. Maintenance, orbital maintenance sort of thruster pack. Well, that will obviously have its own core, its own control avionics. Okay, about 7 more kilometers to go. There we go, 7 more. Okay, that's that. Right, so we've got plenty of margin now. Going to enable. We should have no decay at all now. Switch that off. Okay, the last few seconds of the contract. Three, two, one. Okay, so that's completed, okay. But as I said, this one should not have actually stopped because it was also suborbital. You could go suborbital if you know, that was the contract. You can either be in orbit or suborbital or even escape trajectory. As long as you stayed in space for 14 days. Right, now I see what it means. Right, suborbital, you've got to stay on the ascent, and the descent arm can't dip under the atmosphere. You got to stay in space for 14 days. Otherwise, suborbital doesn't mean you can't go by IC, right? Okay, I won't force complete that. That will remain unachieved. We will continue on. So I've got 4 days worth of food, water, electric. So yeah, it's about, yeah, it's almost 5 days. Well, it's 4.5 days, isn't it? So we probably still wouldn't have been able to achieve the. Well, we're almost to day 10. So we will go until we get the alert. So I'll continue onwards. Electric charge held out very well. That's 1.7 million still. That was almost 1.8 million units from 3.26 as we started with. So that's held out better. But food, water and oxygen don't have as much of that, of the 3 resources to keep the crew alive, as they have electric charge. Okay, right, we'll carry on. See how far we can actually push it. Okay, so just got the alert that food, water and oxygen are starting to run out, although it says, yeah, so that's about 10% worth. So on day 13, we still have 1 day 10 hours and 1 day 9 hours and 1 day and 20 hours worth of oxygen. Of course that includes the 4 hours worth of oxygen I put into the command capsule, which is probably for contingency, just so they've got enough air to breathe for 4 hours during the descent phase, just in case there's a problem, like the bounce off the atmosphere. I'll just stay up there for a little bit longer than sort of you would expect. We've got 13 days, 1 hour 55, almost 2 hours into the into day 14 actually. So I'll push it to the end of day 14. That way we know we can actually achieve it. I can't see a problem because we've got 1.34 million electric charge still. That is number of days worth. Okay, we'll carry on. Okay, that's 14 days broken. Obviously we didn't stay in space because yeah, I had to concentrate, like I said, on Lunar 11, Lunar 12 and the previous 2 missions, previous 2 episodes. So I couldn't come back here. Although I'm pretty sure I put it 270 kilometers at the periapsis. But the good news is, looks like station keeping, which is part of Orbital Decay, seems to work. One thing I've noticed though, there is a bug. If you click on the Orbital Decay's panel just here, try to bring up the information, it does tend to crash TAC LS and then kill the crew when you leave them. Well, when you come back in, when you actually load the game back in and load the vessel back in, they're all dead. Once you're back at Earth or unloaded the vessel in question, it's okay to use the panel then. But while you're here, don't click on this. If it's a manned mission, that's just a little bit I've actually found out myself through obviously trial and error. Alright, so that's 14 days. We have 11 hours worth of food, 10 hours 25 minutes worth, well nearly 12 hours worth of food, 10.5 hours worth of water, 22 hours just over of oxygen, and we have a 1.211 million electric charge still. So we still have almost a third. Yeah, it's actually just over a third of our electric charge, so we could actually go a lot further. We've only got a few more days before I have tech level 2 of cryogenic tanks unlocked. I'm hoping then I can unlock the ability to store liquid hydrogen and get the fuel cells working, which I won't need to anything like as much water or electric charge with me, which will give more room for food. Food and oxygen. I need liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen to run the fuel cells. Alright, so that's 14 days. I won't take it any further, just in case. But yeah, we need to stay in space for 14 days and not dip inside the atmosphere. It's okay to have the periapsis inside the atmosphere as long as you don't come back around to the periapsis for 14 days. I understand what it means now. So that will remain unachieved until the next Gemini, and the next Gemini won't be until I unlock those fuel cells and get them working. Although I could actually do it, maybe I will, before I unlock the next tech node. Maybe I will. But that's the end of this mission. Successful, would have been successful if they said above the atmosphere. Never mind. We'll live and learn. Okay, so that's one of the main goals achieved. We've achieved it. That's a success. I call that a success. Okay, technically we've not completed the 14-day contract. But they are just details. Right, so where are we? We are... So we'll go around, so it's 1 hour 2 minutes before we get exactly why I said we don't want to be pushing the hours. But it's going to take us just over an hour to get to the periapsis, so I can bring the apoapsis down. Alright, go on to the periapsis, bring the apoapsis down. We show enough delta V to bring it right around 100 kilometers at least. Then do the rest of it with RCS if I need to. Okay, about 2 minutes. Go to retrograde. RCS on. So this motor requires ullage. Okay, so throttle is down. Motor is armed. Give it a few seconds worth of ullage just to make sure. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. So since we're bringing the periapsis down, I'm not quite on the node. One thing I will check before decoupling the module, the service module, is to make sure I've got electric charge in the crank capsule. So it has a habit of taking it from the crank capsule rather than the service module first. That should be enough. Ignition. Quite a lot of power there now. Where's the TWI is 0.5. So that's actually pushing the periapsis further away. Let's let that get a little bit closer. "50 seconds. Even the RSS is slowing it down. Okay, let's try again. Okay, 415 pound 170. That's fine. So I'll deactivate the motor for now. Counting the apoapsis and bring the periapsis down to about 100, between 100 and 120 kilometres. Okay, about 1 minute 35 seconds or so. Throttle is down. Motor is armed. About 14 units for RFN A3 and UDMH have only got 10.75. Should be able to bring the periapsis down. See how much power the RCS has. So that's not going to be a problem at all. 550, about 500 kilometres. Obviously, as we start to enter the atmosphere and start to achieve sort of a little bit of drag, attain a bit of atmosphere drag, and that will bring the apoapsis down all by itself anyway. Okay, let's go. Right, so that'll feel 125 kilometres. I've been on to 120 because I've got quite a fair bit of oxygen remaining. So I can sort of do a little bit of sort of pseudo aero braking or partial aero braking. Got plenty of heat shields, so that's not a problem. I've never seen it take more than a few points off the ablator anyway, so. Okay, something I did forget to is turn off station keeping. But I have now. Okay, shut down the motor, no more fuel. Shall leave the RCS live. Right, so we have about 40 or so minutes. It probably won't be anything like that long because we'll dip into the atmosphere before then. About 20 kilometres before. Okay, just about to enter the atmosphere. So I shall check electric charge. And there we go again, exactly what I said. So for some reason it's still taking out the electric charge out of the command module before it takes out the service module, which is completely the other way around. So I'm going to need this transferring a lot faster than this is going to. So I'm going to stop that for now. So I'm going to have to use ship manifest. Electric charge. So I'll take from there to there. $137. Start to bring the apoapsis down. $672. Let's take a quick look. Yep, 524,000. And now it doesn't seem to be. Yeah, well, obviously it can continue to transfer over. It's a curious thing. It seems to be when you leave it, unload the vessel, it seems to be taking it from the command module first. Whereas when it's loaded in, it's not doing so. I've turned off the transfer of fuel balancer, so it's not taking it out of the. I'm not overriding anything. So flow is off. So we need it to be on. That seems to be okay. Yeah, something to keep an eye on when it comes to command modules and service modules. Alright, oxygen as well. Do we have... Yeah, 200 points worth of oxygen, which is about 4 hours worth. Alright, let's let the service module go. RSS is off. Shall arm the chute. For some reason I can't disarm the chute. Okay, so we'll let the service module go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, not quite like that. I forgot about the mod, the nose cone. Okay, RCS on the control. Sorry, re-entry control module. I did take a look at that as well. The power level doesn't seem to make any difference. It still seems to cause that knock off attitude for some reason. Alright, so we start as usual. We'll probably start re-entry phase as in heating. Properly about 70 kilometers, between 70 and 75 kilometers. Alright. Okay, so exactly as I said, we've lifted back out the atmosphere and gone up to about nearly 500 kilometers and then come straight back down. This is the main reason, well, it's the only reason why I put oxygen in the actual command capsule. And plenty of electric charge. I wanted that to be full of electric charge. So I've got enough delta V in that service propulsion unit to bring up to about 1500 kilometers, but we haven't got enough to bring it down using the same propulsion unit, so we have to use RCS. But the one thing you have to be careful of is that if you bring it in too steep, being a craft in too steep, it's a manned craft, you can overstress the crew. No G-forces. So that will assuredly kill your crew quicker than lack of food or water, definitely. I mean, they can go several hours without food or water, but not very long without oxygen, and not very long at all without electric charge to run the life support system. But that's the service module gone. Nice Gemini antenna, sorry. Okay, so we'll carry on down. We're carrying down into the atmosphere. Mass is 1.880 tons. Metric tons. Alright. So we're carrying through the descent stage now. Okay, so back at Cape Canaveral, that's Gemini 9A recovered. So that's Hilmy and Lomal. No experience gain, obviously. Okay, so that's Orbital flight with 2 crews. That's a split altitude record. So that's the 8-day, 4 days at 1 altitude and 4 days at the higher altitude. That's done. 138,750 in funds, 139 reputation. But the 14-day, because we slipped back into the atmosphere for so many of those orbits, I'm pretty sure I put 170 kilometers when I left it. But I didn't enable Orbital Decay's station keeping mode. But it shouldn't have actually needed it. Not over just 10 hours. It shouldn't have lost that much altitude in just 10 hours. But it is possible that I've made a mistake. So that 14-day record will remain unbroken. Not really. There's still technically still in orbit. Even dipping into the atmosphere by just 2 kilometers, but obviously the minimum was 150 at the periapsis, which we came well under. It's 12 kilometers under. But never mind. Alright, so we have just over a day, nearly about a day and a half, before we can unlock cryogenic tanks level 2. So that's tech level 2 for cryogenic tanks. Alright. So that's the 14 days. At least we know we can go for 14 days now. We've got plenty of electric charge, so I could technically take quite a fair bit of electric charge out. I could take at least a couple 100,000, maybe even 500,000. I still had 1.3 million electric charge, including I have 524,000 in the actual command module once I transferred it over. So I could reduce that by about 500,000 and still get the 14 days out of it. But then if we get continuously situation like a battery shorting out, we lose electric charge. But obviously things like that can happen anyway. Not much you can really do about it. Alright, so that's the end of Gemini 9A and the end of this episode. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit like, share with your friends. We have Google+, Twitter, Facebook. Find links on those to the websites on the bar on the front page of this channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more of this and other playthroughs I'm going through right now and building. Okay, once again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and take care. See you next time. Bye bye.